Dear friend, take a look at this picture. On the right is a picture of China's currency, the yuan. China has one goal: replace the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. And they're getting closer to that goal every day. In February, they got Iraq to ditch the dollar for trade. In March, they got Brazil, the largest economy in South America, to ditch the dollar for trade. In April, they got Argentina to ditch the dollar for trade. Now they're going after Saudi Arabia. Now the elites have been saying this could never happen, but this is happening, and it's happening right now in real time. Make no mistake about it, this is economic warfare, and it's about to get worse. In the coming weeks, the Chinese Communist Party plans to make an announcement of the second phase of its attack against the US dollar. Like a Cat 5 hurricane, this announcement will demolish America's financial markets and stun investors and business people alike. Certain stocks could drop by 80%. Inflation would jump, leading to a massive drop in bonds. Certain money market funds could become almost worthless virtually overnight. In other words, many investments that you and your family depend on for your retirement will no longer be safe. Mark my words when I tell you this. Americans are not prepared for what's coming. The clock is ticking. Those who don't prepare today could lose everything. The good news is this is not yet a widely known fact, but in the highest financial circles, word is starting to spread. Elon Musk has sounded the alarm. Billionaire investor Ray Dalio has sounded the alarm. But billionaire investor Stanley Druckenmiller has already acted. He's gone short the US dollar, and he's right. Now's the time to act. I've identified 16 investments that I believe are in immediate danger. There's a good chance you own at least one of these through a brokerage account, mutual fund, 401k, ETF, or pension plan. In a moment, I'm going to give you the names of 3 of the most at-risk ones to you. They're specific bond funds from Fidelity, Rowe Price, and iShares. This way you can get out of them now before it's too late. And you'll have time to position yourself for the select group of opportunities that could explode on this announcement. And I don't just mean safe places to park your money while this all plays out. I'm talking about specific investment opportunities that could jump within weeks of China's announcement. That includes a $2 microcap poised to soar 1,000% on this news that's being quietly bought by one billionaire right now. Once I prove to you what's happening, you're going to understand why you should be on high alert. But first, it's important for you to know who I am and why I've spent the past 3 months working round the clock to get this report to you. My name is Dylan Jovanet. I started my career on Wall Street in 1991. That's when I was hired by Peter Jaquith, one of the investment bankers who became famous for saving New York City from bankruptcy in the 70s. That was a very big break for a kid who grew up dirt poor on welfare and food stamps in Queens, New York. I was not going to waste this break. I managed accounts, but I fell in love with researching stocks. Studying a stock was like reading the short history book about the town the company was in, the people that worked there, the products they made. I mean, I loved it. I couldn't believe people got paid to do this. Within 3 years, I earned a reputation for picking stocks right before they were taken over. Stocks like Paramount, which was bought out by Viacom just 3 months after I recommended it for a fast 100% gain. Or the 70% gains we made when U.S. reinsurance was taken over 6 months after I recommended it. Or the 78% gains we booked when Chase Manhattan Bank was taken over by Chemical Bank. Or the 83% profit we made when Michigan National Bank was taken over for $110 a share. Now remember, this is the early 90s, way before the internet bull market of the later 90s took over. And here I am, this 23-year-old kid, basically, picking takeover after takeover after takeover. In 96, my clients bankrolled me to start my own brokerage firm. And that's how, at just 24 years old, I became one of the youngest people in American history to launch a registered broker-dealer and market maker. And our office was right there on 100 Wall Street. Because of what I accomplished at such a young age, Wall Street took notice. But it wasn't until I predicted the 2009 financial crisis and crash a year before it happened that the rest of the public took notice. That's when I was invited on places like Fox Business News to share my opinion. My message at the time was simple.
What I think they're starting to do is move away from inflationary concerns to concerns about the growth of the economy. So I think you're starting to see the messages change and the Fed to take a stronger easing posture to lower rates.
The stock market at 6,500, it's like walking into your car dealership when everything is on sale marked 90% off. I mean, we got to buy American Express at 14 and a quarter and watched it soar 624%. We bought Starbucks at 8 and watched it soar 700%. AutoNation rose 459% after we recommended it at 10. FactSet Research gained 235% after we recommended it. K-Swiss rose 65% in just a few months after I recommended it. And you remember Radio Shack? I brought investors fast 80% profits after the stock jumped from 16 to 29. Now the gains weren't all big. Some were taken over way too quickly before they could jump too. Like John Harlan, which jumped 35% after it was taken over just 6 months after we recommended it. Or Hilton Hotels, which jumped 40% after it was taken over just a few months after we recommended it. Now I'm grateful that I was able to help so many people profit from the 2009 crash. But China's attack on the US dollar has me more concerned than ever before. When China makes this announcement, you could wake up one morning to find your portfolio down 50%. In a moment, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do when this announcement comes. And I'm going to show you my red flag list. This is a list of 3 investments that are going to be hit the hardest. Now, I could email it to you also, but you're going to get the names of it in a few minutes. Finally, I'll show you what I think is the absolute most important thing for you to do to keep yourself safe before this announcement comes and make a lot of money in the process. Now, the assumptions you've built your retirement plans on are about to change, and they're about to change in a very, very big way. You see, for the past 50 years, investing for your retirement was pretty straightforward. You'd work hard, save as much as you could, invest that money in the stock market, and then watch it grow. But that all changed when Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine on February 24th, 2022. Now, the world expected the Biden administration to put sanctions on Russia, and I understand that. They wanted to stop Russia from being able to fund its war against Ukraine. But they didn't just choose normal sanctions, like penalizing countries that sold weapons to Russia. They chose the financial nuclear option. On February 27, 2022, 3 days after Russia invaded them, Biden froze the assets Russia kept in its own central bank. This will go down in history as a historic mistake, the beginning of the end for the US dollar. That's because Biden could have accomplished 90% of his goals with much more targeted sanctions. But they did the one thing you can't do if you want to keep the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. They crossed the line and went after central bank reserves. That decision, that one decision, shocked the world. It sent a message to every other country on earth. If you don't do what the US wants, we can take your country's money away. All of it, with the snap of a finger. Now, regardless of whether you support the war in Ukraine or not, you need to understand something. This will go down as one of the biggest mistakes in US history. And China took advantage of Biden's mistake. They used it as an opening. Let me show you exactly how they did that and how I believe this is going to play out in the next 6 months. Almost every significant income-related investment in America will crash when China makes this announcement. How do I know this is going to happen? Because the table is being set right now. Let me explain. In 2018, China launched a secret plan to replace the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. But nobody took them seriously at first, until we froze the assets of Russia's central bank. That was the opening they needed. They went to their trading partners with a simple message. The US can take all your country's money with the snap of a finger. Protect your money from them by using our currency instead of the dollar. And after what Biden did, countries finally listened. They finally took China seriously. Brazil ditched the dollar. Argentina ditched the dollar. Iraq ditched the dollar. And the rebellion against the dollar is just getting bigger. Everyone's afraid that we're going to drop a financial nuclear bomb on them next. So they're all looking to ditch the dollar. Southeast Asia is thinking of ditching the dollar. Saudi Arabia is thinking of ditching the dollar. And things are about to get much worse. In the coming weeks, China will soon make an announcement that'll get those countries and a whole lot more to ditch the dollar for good. This announcement threatens the very foundation of our economy, and it risks your retirement. Let me explain. This announcement from China will be the final nail in the dollar's coffin. When it happens, the ripple effect will cause tens of trillions of dollars in bonds, stocks, and other income-related investments to plunge. Some stocks may even go to zero. Now, I know this may sound hard to believe, but as I've already shown you, this dollar rebellion has been happening ever since Biden first froze the assets of Russia's central bank. And China's upcoming announcement is going to get the rest of these countries to ditch the dollar too. I believe that's going to happen at the next meeting of China's Federal Reserve, what they call their People's Bank of China. On that day, China will announce the next phase of its attack against the dollar, the launch of a gold-backed currency. You see, China's been very, very busy this year. In addition to getting those countries to ditch the dollar, they've been buying gold quietly, hand over fist. In June, they bought 32.5 tons. In July, they upped that purchase to bought 80.1 tons of gold, and their pace hasn't slowed down. A Chinese currency backed by gold will be devastating to the US dollar. It would suck trillions of dollars out of America and just pump them into China. That would flip the entire financial system upside down. Billionaire real estate investor Sam Zell said his single biggest financial concern, the one that kept him up at night, was the loss of the dollar as the world's reserve currency. He said he couldn't imagine anything more disastrous for the United States, and I agree with him. Like I said earlier, Americans are not prepared for what's coming. Let me show you why. America has some of the lowest interest rates on earth because the dollar is the world's reserve currency. Let me explain how that works. Let's say Mercedes-Benz, for example, makes $20 billion selling its cars in the US, a $20 billion profit. That means they're sitting on $20 billion US dollars. So what do they do with it? Well, it doesn't just sit in a bank account. They take that $20 billion and they buy $20 billion of US bonds. Now, Mercedes-Benz is just one company. Every company on earth does the same thing. Having the world's reserve currency means that almost every company on earth that sells something gets paid back in dollars. That adds up to trillions and trillions of dollars a year. And all those trillions of extra dollars are used every day to buy things like US Treasury bonds. But when China launches its gold-backed currency, Mercedes is going to invest that money in China's gold-backed currency instead of Treasury bonds. So will thousands of other companies, central banks, and investment funds from around the world. I mean, think about it. A gold-backed currency is just a better store of value. It's backed by gold. Once China makes this announcement, the first domino is going to fall. And the first domino for us are bond prices. They're going to get crushed. When all these companies, central banks, and investment funds from around the world stop buying bonds, which I believe is going to happen in the next 6 months, interest rates will not only rise, they're going to rise a heck of a lot faster than anybody's ready for. They're going to rise because a lot less people are buying our treasury bonds. Rising rates mean bond prices are going to get hammered. And the longer the bond, the harder they're going to get hit. So if you own bonds right now, that means the value of those bonds is going to plunge. That's when the second domino is going to fall. Mortgage rates are going to jump. To get firms like Mercedes to buy treasury bonds, the government's going to have to boost the interest rate it pays dramatically. I mean, put yourself in Mercedes' shoes. They could buy a gold-backed currency that won't lose value, or treasury bonds which lose value every year because our government can't stop borrowing and spending and printing money. So to beat the Chinese government and get that money back into America, the government's going to be forced to sell treasury bonds at 10 to 15% interest rates. And when interest rates go up, all other rates go up too. Mortgage loans, credit card loans, car loans, truck loans, college loans, small business loans, you name it. You think a 7% mortgage loan is bad? Wait until we're staring down the barrel of a 15% mortgage loan. That's when the third domino will fall. Retirement accounts will crash. Now, we all know that the stock market goes down when interest rates go up. It's like a seesaw relationship. But the last time we faced interest rates this high was in the 70s. That decade was a financial horror show, and it felt like it lasted forever. The stock market crashed 64% that decade, dropping from 6,500 to a low of 2,300. You think that's bad? That's when the final domino will fall. Social Security and Medicare will get cut. Think about it. Last year, we paid $476 billion in interest payments alone on our country's debt. That's with Treasury bonds that we sold at 3% interest rates. Compared to what's coming, we're going to look back at these as the good old days. When the government is forced to sell bonds at 10% interest rates, our annual interest payments will soar. In 5 years, they'll double. In 10 years, they'll triple. And at that point, they're going to be choking us. I mean, imagine going from $500 billion a year in interest to $1.5 trillion, $2 trillion. That's when politicians who run for office are going to have to do something they haven't done for 50 years. They're going to have to level with the American people. They'll talk to us about having to make sacrifices for the next generation. But what they'll really mean is that with $1 or $2 trillion a year in interest payments, we're going to have to make some serious cuts. And the cuts will hit everything: Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and national defense. Sam Zell predicted you'd see a 25% reduction in our standard of living if the dollar was no longer the world's reserve currency. Imagine your benefits getting cut by 25%. That's why economist Peter St. Onge said that losing our status as the world's reserve currency would mean a, quote, catastrophic collapse in America's living standard. Taken together, the facts are clear. China's launch of a gold-backed currency presents a clear and present danger to our country and to your retirement. One morning, you'll wake up and read that China made this announcement. $25 trillion in stock market value could be wiped out day one. Your IRA, 401k, mutual funds, 529 plans would all be cut by 50%. Can you imagine waking up one morning, seeing nothing but red on CNBC, seeing your retirement was cut in half because of some announcement that came out of China? That is literally what's in front of us. But the biggest risk you have right now is not being prepared. The good news is that I'm here to help you do just that. And I have made a career of seeing around corners. Here's a recent example. In early 2020, the stock market crashed 40% because of the COVID pandemic. March was the worst of it. I mean, it was like a stampede out of stocks. You remember that. One billionaire hedge fund manager went on CNBC and literally cried, "Hell is coming," as he wiped away tears. But we kept our cool. On March 12, 2020, I wrote an article titled 4 Steps to Profit from This Market Panic. Right at the heart of the market crash, I urged readers to buy. I said, when we get to the other side of this, the market will have a snapback rally because prices and interest rates are so cheap. Because of my experience and my ability to see these opportunities while everyone else was crying, our readers kept their cool. Because we kept our cool, we were able to pocket huge returns, like Chemocentrics, which rose 435%. Magnolia Oil and Gas jumped 159%. Crystal Biotech rose 275%. Scott's Miracle-Gro gained 194%. Flora & Decor jumped 174%. DraftKings jumped 115%. AGI Pharma, 142%. Now keep in mind, these aren't hypothetical examples. My readers had the opportunity to get into these exact trades right around COVID and make a lot of money in a short period of time. That's why I've been so grateful to receive such wonderful testimonials from folks. Rod G. from Reno, Nevada wrote in to say that we were the most accurate advisor he's ever used. Alan K. from Shelton, Connecticut wrote in to say he was a believer. Janice W. from Ann Arbor, Michigan wrote in to thank us for our honest and intellectual service. And Mike M. from Fishers, Indiana wrote in to tell us that our customer service rocks, which is one of my personal favorites. My point is, when China makes this announcement, you'll have the opportunity to send us those kinds of notes. That's why I'm talking to you today. In a moment, I'll show you how you can protect your financial security and put yourself in a position to make money. Stocks our research shows will be the best picks for this coming announcement. But before I reveal the exact details, here's what I recommend you doing immediately. Step 1, check this list. The first thing you have to do is check your exposure today to certain long-term bond funds. Look into your 401k, your IRA, and any other retirement accounts you have. If you have any of these funds, see what you're invested in. Log into your brokerage account. I have found 16 funds that I think would be the first to get crushed. And I've spent the past 3 months studying the impact of the Chinese launching a gold-backed currency, and I've come up with a red flag list. Bottom line, there are 16 investments you simply must get rid of when this announcement comes. Here is a partial list, the 3 that I think are the riskiest. The Fidelity High Income Fund, the Rowe Price Intermediate Tax-Free High Yield Fund, and the iShares iBox High Yield Corporate Bond ETF. Now, we don't have a ton of space to give you the full list. If you'd like a hard copy, I'll tell you what to do in a minute. That brings us to step 2. Buy this instead. China's blitzkrieg-style attack against the US dollar this year has already caused billions of dollars worth of damage. That's one reason the dollar has sank this year. But when they announced they're going to launch a gold-backed currency, that number could jump into the trillions. That's when the dollar could sink to lows not seen in the history of this country. This brand new report comes with special recommendations that can ensure you don't sink with the dollar when China makes this announcement. You'll discover a special way to add what I call bond market blowout insurance. That's because it both protects you and the payout goes higher the worse this crisis gets. Only, it isn't actually insurance. I mean, it has no annual premiums. You set it up once and you're all set, and you never wait for approval or have to file a single claim. When the market unravels, as I'm forecasting it will, you'll watch the amount of this go up. You'll also discover how to flip China's blitzkrieg attack on its head with an investment strategy that used to only be available to professional investors. This investment alone is worth the price of admission. You'll learn about a little-known fund that kind of acts as a shield against the fall of the dollar, and it pays you dividends while this all plays out. Use this strategy and you automatically arm yourself with powerful protection in this new financial war with China. You'll discover a safe and easy way to increase your exposure to gold while earning dividend payments. This secret investment will make your broker blush in embarrassment for not even telling you about it. You'll get the name of a boring gold mining company that 5 billionaires currently use to have income deposited into their accounts like clockwork. Learn about this company and you may never have to worry about where to invest for extra income every month. I put all of these names in a special report for you titled China Attacks the US Dollar, 3 Steps to Take to Prepare for Economic War. Inside this report, you're going to learn everything you need to know about this event. You'll have access to my red flag list. You'll learn about the absolute best ways to protect your portfolio. Plus, you're going to learn about 3 special situations that you can use to actually boost your wealth when this announcement comes. Remember when I told you that the stock market was going to get crushed when this happens? Well, there are a couple of small exceptions to this rule. Thanks to a rarely used law, instead of losing value during times of financial stress, certain investments grow no matter what's happening in the markets. You'll find all of the details in my report, which you can have free of charge. Before I show you how to get your copy, let me tell you about the 3rd and final step you should take right now. Step 3, hunt for special situations. When China makes this announcement, smart money will begin shifting into a few key asset classes, and you should too, but while it's still early. In short, this coming announcement is presenting you with a once-in-a-generation opportunity to make a significant amount of money from the financial markets. You'll get the details on a $2 microcap gold mining firm that's quietly been scooped up by a billionaire investor ahead of this announcement. This stock looked poised to soar 1,000% on this news. You're going to learn the name of this company as soon as you join. You'll discover a special crypto hack that lets you hedge, basically, a specific cryptocurrency against a falling US dollar. Learn this underused tactic and immediately change what your retirement prospects look like. You'll discover a kind of secret commodities trade that'll act like a hedge against the dollar's fall and give you potential returns in the 1 to 200% range in the next 12 months. Most brokers won't even share this particular trade with you. But if it's good enough for billionaire investors like Mario Gabelli and Jim Simmons, it's good enough for you. In short, there's a great opportunity to make a fortune in stocks that are positioned well before this happens. But these situations won't last long. We haven't had a crisis like this one in decades. As this crisis hits, dumb money is going to rush late and pile into these stocks, sending their prices even higher. But you'll be smart because you've positioned yourself in them early. You still have time, but the clock is ticking. So far, I've covered the 3 steps you need to take right now to plan for this crisis. Step 1, check my red flag list. Make sure you don't own any of the names on it. Step 2, hedge your exposure to the dollar and put yourself in a position to make massive gains with select gold mining stocks. And step 3, buy a few special situations because there will be opportunities to make 4, 5, even 10 times your money or more. To give you an edge, I put all of the details in a very special report that's really close to my heart because I worked hard on it, really hard on it. It's called China Attacks the US Dollar, 3 Steps to Take to Prepare for Economic War. This report details everything I've discussed with you, and it gives you the exact moves you need to take now to protect yourself and your family and put yourself in a position to make money. I'm going to offer it to you for free at the end of this video. During the almost 30 years I've been doing this, I have consistently made a lot of money by being 2 steps ahead of the crowd. A few triple-digit winners include American Express, which I mentioned, which jumped 700%, Chemocentrics, which rose 435%, FactSet Research, which gained 235%, AutoNation, which soared 420%, and Starbucks, which gained about 700%. But here's the thing, as great as those gains were, they don't compare to the danger and opportunity in front of us right now. There are going to be several ways to profit in the coming years. But first, we must take steps to protect your financial security. This is the first one. Download my report, China Attacks the Dollar, 3 Steps to Take to Prepare for Economic War. This report is yours absolutely free. I want you to have this report for free because there doesn't seem to be anyone else preparing you for this. You see, China is attacking our financial system right now as you're watching this. This is the biggest story you're not being told. It's the very definition of urgent, and it seems nobody is preparing folks for it. It's almost surreal, really. I mean, I feel the same way I did before the housing market crashed. I mean, I began warning folks in May 12, 2006, almost 2 years before the market collapsed. My first target at that time was Wachovia Bank. I mean, the stock was selling at $55.82. I urge people to sell now. Within 2 years, the stock collapsed to $5.50 a share, a loss of 90%. That was just the tip of the iceberg. On June 9, 2006, I warned customers that the entire stock market was going to drop. At the time, I wrote that the market had no place else to go but down. I said it wasn't a question of if, it was just a question of when. A year later, the market dropped 45%, the Dow. The S&P dropped 47%. And the NASDAQ dropped 54%. My point is, I have a proven history of predicting these kinds of things. And I haven't seen one credible source warning you about this. Again, it boggles the mind. That's why I had to tell you this story. In my almost 30 years in the markets, I have never seen such a financially dangerous moment for this country and for your retirement. And nobody credible is talking about it. But what makes this opportunity so unique is the urgency. This announcement could come any day. That's exactly why I burned the candle at both ends, woke up at 4 in the morning every day, to get you this urgent report. China attacks the dollar. 3 steps to take to prepare for economic war. I put this new report together for members of my exclusive VIP service, Behind the Markets. We hunt elephants at Behind the Markets. We don't look for mice. We focus on the biggest megatrends that nobody else is talking about, and the little-known stocks at the forefront of those megatrends. Stocks that are so far ahead of their competitors, they can change an entire market. Stocks with lower share prices, smaller market capitalizations, and rapidly growing revenue. Stocks that can put 1,000% gains in your pocket in just months and change your life. As soon as you become a member of Behind the Markets, you'll become part of my inner circle. I mean, just like my mother, just like my family, you're going to get access to every single investment opportunity that I discover every month. As a member of Behind the Markets, you're going to receive, first, our brand new report, China Attacks the Dollar, 3 steps to take to prepare for economic war. This blockbuster 100-page report will outline the exact 3 steps you need to take right now to plan for this coming announcement and crisis. Step 1, it includes my red flag list. This way you can immediately check your 401k, IRA, mutual funds, brokerage accounts to make sure you don't own any of the stocks most likely to get crushed when the bullets start flying. Step 2, it includes my list of top ways to hedge your exposure to the US dollar and put yourself in a position of profit from gold's coming rise. Step 3, it includes my top special situations because there will be opportunity to make 4, 5, even 10 times your money or more. You can also expect 1 to 2 new recommendations from us every month. Each recommendation will include a 30-page report on the company, as well as easy-to-follow instructions for you to execute that trade. And since we mostly recommend common stocks here, these trades will be easy enough for any beginner to do. You're going to get sell alerts for the opportunity to bank maximum profits. All you need to do is wait to hear from me so you'll know exactly when it's time to sell and take profits. This way, we can avoid writing a stock up only to write it all the way back down with no gains to show for it. That's why I will not recommend selling a position until after that trend running it is officially over. You're also going to get unlimited access to the Behind the Markets members website. That's because all Behind the Markets members have access to an exclusive website, brand new one, we just released it, that you can log into at your own convenience. There, you can access all past and present alerts, updates, videos, and a few other goodies I'll discuss below. This way, you'll have a 360-degree view of every open position, as well as a record of all the trades we've already closed. You'll know to the minute how much money Behind the Markets is making for you. You're also going to have VIP concierge service ready to help you Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We have a fully staffed team of professionals who are here solely to help you get the most out of this opportunity. They're located right here in South Carolina, so you'll be able to call or email them any day of the week with any questions you may have about your membership. But most importantly, once you join Behind the Markets, you get access to yours truly, me. Like my own family and friends, from now on you'll know about the big warnings like this first, before the rest of the world finds out about them. By the time the general public finds out about this, it's going to be too late. You'll also know exactly what to buy and what to sell, just like my readers did after the market crash in 2009. I want to position you for the dangerous world that we now find ourselves in, helping you protect your financial security, your retirement, and make money is my mission. In short, you get first-class access to a brain that has made millions of dollars for myself and for other people during the past 30 years. That's why I kept the cost of Behind the Markets at the lowest possible level, just $39. That's a 50% discount from our competitors. And frankly, I believe it is a steal at that price. I mean, come on. This new report we're releasing, China Attacks the Dollar, 3 steps to take to prepare for economic war, that report alone is worth a heck of a lot more than $39. I mean, we put months of research and reflection into this report, as well as weeks and weeks of waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning to write it, to get it ready, just for you. But most importantly, while we wait for these events to unfold, I'll give you opportunities to make money that you've never even imagined before. I don't know about you, but I've been around for long enough to know how rare that really is. But look, as I mentioned earlier, this is about feeding more than my wallet. It's about feeding my soul. And the best way for me to do that is to help as many people as I can. Remember, I grew up on welfare and food stamps, so I will never forget the value of the dollar. So just to prove how confident I am, let me remove any last shred of doubt you might have about making this investment. Try Behind the Markets risk-free for 30 days. Take the month to review the service. Profit from as many of the open positions as you can. If I don't meet or exceed your expectations, just call customer service and you will get 100% full refund. You risk nothing. Plus, you can keep this free report you get today. Join me while we prepare together for this crisis. Sign up for Behind the Markets. Let me share with you what it is I do best each and every single month, just like I do with my friends and family. Thank you so much for watching this video. I sincerely hope you take me up on this offer. I'm confident you're going to look back one day and think that joining us here was one of the best investments you ever made. So let me quickly recap what you can expect from Behind the Markets. First, you're going to get this free report, China Attacks the Dollar, 3 Steps to Take to Prepare for Economic War. You're going to get this invaluable free bonus report right away as soon as you sign up. And even if you cancel, this report is yours to keep. This has a value of at least $997. 2, you're going to get life-changing stocks every month. You're going to get the benefit of the best investment experience money can buy in 12 monthly issues of Behind the Markets emailed directly to your inbox. Once you get the email, simply call your broker or place your trade online. That alone has a value of $200. 3, you're going to get a 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee. Because I want you to have this report without fear and without hesitation, I'm backing up my claims with this unconditional guarantee. Try Behind the Markets risk-free. If you don't like the service in the first 30 days for any reason whatsoever, every penny you paid will be refunded to you, and this report is yours to keep. Now that all has a total value of $1,197, but it's all available today for the low price of just $39. That's because I know China's announcement will destroy more wealth and create more millionaires than any event since World War II. I want you to be among the few who have the opportunity to make the kind of money that can change the way you live your life. And it starts with this special report, China Attacks the Dollar, 3 Steps to Take to Prepare for Economic War. Those who act now could see their wealth protected for generations. Those who don't act now could suffer greatly. Do you remember the story of the 3 little pigs? The big bad wolf blew the first pig's house down because it was made of straw. He blew the second pig's house down because it was made of sticks. But he couldn't blow the third pig's house because it was made of bricks. I'm going to help you build your portfolio with bricks to prepare yourself for this coming announcement. But you need to act fast. Just click on the button below to get started. This once-in-a-lifetime opportunity is yours for the taking. I urge you to take advantage of it today, and I look forward to having you on board. The buck stops here. My name is Dylan Giovanni. Thank you for watching this video.